Hey, Panty Nectar fans, before we get into the podcast today, I just want to mention I have a panty giveaway going on. Head over to pantynectar.com/community, comment on that forum, and you will be entered in the giveaway for panties.
Panty Nectar. Welcome to the Panty Nectar podcast. Panty Nectar here, and if you are new here, I want to say welcome. And thank you for listening to the podcast. And if you are a regular for the Panty Nectar podcast, then you already know the deal. I am laying in bed, per usual, king size. And I have got my lovely co-host here, Mr. P.
Snuggled up under the blankets with you tonight. How are you, Panty Nectar? It's good to be here with you.
Good. I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Very excited for this show and what you have lined up. And I'm just ready to get right into it. What you got going tonight?
Yeah. So, I guess I just wanted to start off by talking about, I had a message from a really nice fan who listens to the podcast and decided to share some insight with me. So I'm going to go ahead and read what they had written to me. It says, "Hi, just listened to your podcast episode 2. I'm writing about your question if these outlets have helped people's marriage. I can say that my wife and I have been together for 21 years. We met in college. I played basketball. She was a cheerleading captain, and we had children early. We have had the most amazing relationship for 21 years, but we have never experimented sexually outside of being together. Now that our kids are older and my wife turned 40, we have been having the most fun, all while a lot of people in our friend group are unhappy or getting divorced, and we started looking on Reddit, which led to visits to Hollover, dirty sexting, and really just a lot of adult fun. The point of this is that it's helping us, the point of this helping us is that curiosity won't get the best of us, and anything that we want to experience, we can experience together safely. We do follow you and think you and Mr. P are awesome. Thanks for the amazing content. E&D."
That was a very nice letter from your fans.
Yeah, so I thought that was very kind. And, I think it's one thing for us to sit here and say, like, we have a great marriage because of this, and it allows us to have so many, there's so many pros, i.e. communication, openness, all of those things. But I think it's cool to kind of hear it from other people sometimes that, like, hey, this isn't just like Panty Nectar living some fantasy paradise life. Like, this does actually help people. This does actually help marriages and help relationships. I think that's just a really good example of like he said, all our friends in our friend group are unhappy and they're divorced.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're in their 40s, right? I mean, it's like
40s,
right at this point. We don't know these people, never met them, but most people in their 40s, or not most, a lot of people in their 40s have done everything that they were supposed to do in life, right? That society told them to check all the boxes, got out of high school and went and did this after high school and did that, and this and that, and then married and kids and, all the things you're supposed to do. And here they are, they wind up and they're in their 40s and 50s and 30s and 60s and 70s, or whatever age. And these people realize that this track that they had been on, wasn't necessarily providing the happiness that they were seeking, but the track that they were on wasn't their own track. They were on someone else's track. And, the thing that this guy that messaged you, he's talking about, we're in our 40s and we're living some of the best days of our lives where our friends are miserable, or some of them at least. And not only that, what they're doing, a key word jumped out of me out of all the stuff you read there. And it was towards the end, and it was the word safely. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a huge component that often goes, overlooked, or it's assumed that you can't be safe and have fun sexually. And that's just that's not the case. We all know that you can practice a very robust sex life and still be safe doing it and do all the kinky and crazy shit you want to do. So good on you for that fan doing that. And he mentioned that his wife, and so that was on Reddit, and you showed me the pictures. His wife's pretty hot for being in her 40s, especially. I mean, so
yeah, good for them.
yeah. Like,
I think another like thing to point out is, you know, a lot of people, I guess the way that I would want to look at it, and like I come from divorced parents, like a lot of people listening right now do. And I think in my head, like, okay, these people, they're 40 years old. Now let's just do it from my perspective. We technically won't, you know, the guys, there's obviously perspective there, but as a woman in a marriage, if I have a feeling like I want to sleep with somebody else with you, I think that I should be able to vocalize that. And the alternative to communication, I guess, would be ruining a marriage of 40 plus years or whatever, however long, just because I wanted to go scratch an itch. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
And I think that sounds like, you know, of course people look at it from the guy's point of view and they go, well, of course you want to go sleep with other people. You're a fucking dude, of course. But like women have the same sexual
impulses.
Yeah, like I guess impulses is a good word for it, like animalistic almost. Like it's in our nature to have these impulses. So why not be open and communicate them instead of ruining a marriage that you love deeply and you have built this life with this person around over something that they might be open to just sleeping with some random person one night with you. You know what I mean? So like
may want to watch it and you'd be like, holy shit.
Exactly. That could open up so many different avenues just by being open and honest. And like these people, they're sexting people and having the time of their lives. And, you know, I think it takes a real open and honest person to be able to live life like that. And I think that means like a little bit of like inside searching too. Like you have to be good with yourself and in a good place to be able to be in that state of mind with your partner, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, just it's very cliche, but it's the absolute truth. If you look at it from just, you know, statistical dynamic, you're only one half of the relationship, right? So you have to put in your best that you can because you're relying on your partner to do the same. And if you're not bringing your best, then how can your partner do that with you?
Exactly.
And you know, the open communication that you constantly talk about is so key. And you would be surprised. You know, I get messages all the time on Mr. Peanut. Guys ask me, how do I get my wife to do this? How do I get, have you talked to her about it?
Right.
No, well, I haven't because she is, you know, I know. Well, how do you know? You don't know, you know, and you have to. And when you go into those conversations, don't go in with any expectations of anything. You know, you just
I was going to say expectations.
Absolutely, and just be open and communicate what you're feeling, and your partner will be receptive towards it.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, if you're a guy and you're listening to this podcast right now and you totally think like, I've never looked at another female other than my wife. I love my wife. My wife's the only one I'm going to think is attractive from here on out. You're fucking full of shit. You're lying and you're full of shit and you're only lying to yourself because that's just it's not human nature. I don't blame you, you know, for checking out a hot girl. Shit, half the time I'm like, damn, look at her ass in that bikini.
Right.
Like that looks good. That, you know, it's not like you're just out hunting for females and this and that. Like when we see an attractive person, male or female, they're an attractive person, you know?
Yeah. And you know, you were talking about a few minutes ago, the primal instinct in human beings, or really every animal, right? I mean, because we wouldn't be here, or any species wouldn't be here if we didn't have a certain primal instincts. And human beings have a desire to fuck. Right? I mean, there would not be 8 billion people on this planet in present day. Not that there's been 8 billion people in here on the history of Earth. No, presently, today, there's over 8 billion people on this Earth. And that's because if you think there's been 8 million fucking loads busted inside chicks, right? I mean, like, so, or 8 billion, I'm sorry. That's
technically not twins.
Oh, true.
Gotcha.
And then in vitro fertilization and all that stuff that's going on. Great for science, for advancing. But the thing is, we have those desires, now that doesn't mean that you can just go out and do whatever the hell you want to do.
Right.
No, there's of course boundaries and there's parameters that need to be set up with you and your partner. And
like there's some people that, I don't know personally, but I know through my fan base that their partner allows them to have other relationships to fill certain, let's just say, for example, dominant instincts that they have, impulses that they have. Their significant other might not be into that.
Yep.
So all they have to do is communicate with their significant other. And in this situation, this person, his wife now allows him to have like a pet on the side, like a slave on the side to be able to get those urges out on. And he's not out fucking cheating on her and going behind her back. Like they've communicated about it. And I think if you take a step back and realize that at the end of the day that you have needs and I have needs and those needs are going to be met, or you're just going to divorce and be unhappy and move on and never cure anything because you decided not to communicate.
Right.
You don't get anywhere. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're all different. We all, talking about the population of Earth, there's 8 billion people. Not a single one of us is like the person next to us or there's no one here like anyone else. Physically, mentally, of the same stature or anything else. Everybody's different. And so why do we think that we're all going to fit inside? How are we going to fit 8 billion people inside these 4 boxes of what what society says is okay on how to express yourself sexually, right? Missionary, doggy style, blowjob. Don't come in the mouth, and maybe on your fucking honeymoon night you can bust a load on the face. Fuck that. Yeah. Like, go out, have the fun you want to have. And the thing with me, I'm quite a bit older than you, and
how much older?
Just a few years. Not quite.
How many is it? Yeah, I'm like, it's
not
14,
quite 15. Right? Yeah. But man, that threw me off.
I didn't realize till you said it out loud. I'm like, damn. 14?
Yeah, but I used to go around thinking like, man, I walk around in these public places and everybody's acting so conservative, growing up in Texas, South Texas especially, so conservative, and all these women are dressed this certain way and no one's talking about sex or anything like that. And then like I get in my 20s and this same society that I'm living in and when you turn the lights off, these chicks are fucking freaks. So it's like, what's going on here? Why am I walking around through the store, through the supermarket, and everyone's acting like they're too good, to even wear, or no girls wearing a low cut shirt or something like that. Yet this same chick is asking me to fuck her in the ass the next night.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, and it took me a few years to come up with this genius idea.
Oh,
I wish people would just walk around wearing a t-shirt that said what they're into. Like,
people wouldn't like that.
Like, I'm into BDSM, or just like BDSM, or blowjobs, or giving anal, or
your t-shirt would be front and back.
What would it say?
It would say everything that's listed on there. Everything.
Yeah. We'd have to get one with like special small font or something, or maybe utilize the sleeves.
Yeah.
But my point in all this is that in every year that you get older, you get more socially conditioned to believe this certain way. And as you're, we were listening to, my buddy had sent me that Joe Rogan thing that we listened to earlier today. he and Gary Vee thing, and it was very inspirational in the sense of, Joe Rogan was saying one of his favorite quotes is how, talking about how people who basically live like normal lives have the most regret because you lived your life knowing that you should have been doing something else this whole time because, deep down, you should be doing something else, but you're living the other path that society put forth for you. And Joe Rogan, they were talking about like doctors or lawyers, I mean, how many lawyers have I met that have been completely, I'm not going to say miserable, but the career success that they have and the degrees that they have and the acronyms that follow their name don't give them the happiness that they thought that they would achieve. The money doesn't give them the happiness that they thought they'd achieve either, because they have, they're living someone else's life.
Not authentically.
Absolutely. I've always, well, I don't want to talk about my law stuff, but I kind of started going down that path as well. But here I am with Panty Nectar, and this is a much better path to be on. I can tell you that.
He's got a good gig.
Everyone tells me every day, you are the luckiest guy on earth, and I can promise you, I feel the exact same way. So if you think Mr. P is the luckiest guy on earth, I fully agree with you. And it's just amazing, amazing to be a part of this Panty Nectar journey with you, and see you share your love with everybody and having so much fun.
Absolutely. I think if you have been waiting for a sign to live your life authentically for yourself and to do things that maybe you have been scared to do, I want to go ahead and just give you the Panty Nectar push that you need to go ahead and go out and, do those things. Stop giving a fuck what everyone thinks. Stop worrying about what people are going to say. You only get one life. You only get to live it once. So make it fucking worth it. Make yourself truly happy by living authentically. And if that means that you are a fucking closet gay and you are scared to come out because you are worried about what your friends and your family are going to think, this is your push to come out.
Absolutely.
Who cares? No one cares. At the end of the day, it's you who's buried in that, fucking 6 foot down below the ground. No one else. So
absolutely. And being gay, I think, is a great analogy. When we first moved out here to South Florida earlier this year, it was, we were where we live at, there's a lot of gay guys. I mean, we live
it's like a predominantly gay community.
Yeah, we live in a gay community. And so there's a lot of gay people, and at first it was kind of a culture shock,
We're from South Texas.
And it was just like, whoa, I'm not just used to seeing a bunch of gay guys walking around.
Absolutely.
And then it was almost immediate. Within like a day or two, I was like, holy shit. Like I felt like this weird connection to them, because it was like these guys have lived, a lot of them have lived their lives like pent up in a society that told them it's not okay. And then they finally have had enough and they say, fuck it, I am gay, or I am this, and this is who I am. And at that point, they shed that weight off their shoulders and they move forward without all that baggage that they've been carrying and hiding inside and kept slammed in the closet with the door closed and pushed up under the bed so no one will see it.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, I connect with these people. Like these are people like me that have just kind of said, fuck it. Like I've had enough going along with society telling me that I have to be this way or that way. And as long as I'm being kind to other people and not hurting myself and not hurting other people and doing good in the world, that's what I want to do.
Yeah. So that means if you want to go to a fucking gangbang, you go to a gangbang.
Absolutely.
Or if you want to suck 12 dicks, you go suck 12 dicks. We back you on living your authentic life. Are you going to talk about Lydia?
Yeah, I was going to say, how'd you know?
Because I can read
I was
your
going to
mind.
say, speaking of sucking dicks, is she going to come on the podcast?
I look over and you're like, Mr. P's thrown the blanket off of his legs. He's unzipping his pants.
I'm just
He
readjusting
thinks
my pants. It's I wasn't whipping my dick out virtually,
But yes, hopefully soon we have Lydia as a guest on the podcast. It'd be awesome to hear from the Dick Sucking Queen herself.
yeah, she's a cool chick. Talk about someone who doesn't give a shit. She just does her thing.
Doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, it'd be great to hear, like her story one day. Let the listeners hear her story. All right. Well, if you are still listening, I want to say thank you so much. And I have a little exclusive giveaway
please.
just for you guys. I am doing a panty giveaway. So if you would like to be entered in this panty giveaway, please head over to pantynectar.com/community. That is a community forum that I have built for my fans to go and communicate about all things, not just not safe for work, safe for work as well. So
you're giving away a pair of your panties?
Yeah, dirty panties.
So you're telling me that pair of panties is not going to be laying around dirty anymore for me to find and pick up and have
nope.
fun with?
One less pair of dirty panties.
Well, I guess those amazing fans you have deserve some dirty panties.
They are pink Victoria's Secret panties, and they have ruffles all over them.
Ooh.
And then they have white stitched in polka dots all over them. Very like Barbie vibes.
Wait, those ruffly panties that you have that the ruffles go around almost the whole waistline?
All the way around, yeah.
I like those.
Yeah, I do too. And I thought the fans would, so that's why I chose them.
Very sexy. Well, Panty Nectar, I just want to thank you for having me on the show again.
Absolutely.
It's amazing being here, and to your fan base, thank you guys so much for tuning in to listen to the beautiful Panty Nectar again. I know she is very appreciative of you guys, and I cannot thank you enough for supporting her as well. So thank you.
Yep. Appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed.
Adios.